Okay, so this is the exciting conclusion of our drive today. I lost signal coming up over the Peach Orchard. You never can tell, folks. You never can tell when signal is going to go. But we don't lose it again in places that I know I'm going to lose it, like down by the wheat field. I'm going to go this way. All right, now, so to finish answering Jeff's question about, Jeff had asked on the last video what my favorite places on the battlefield are and how much have they changed since, I think he said since I moved here, but I took it back to when I started coming. So Devil's Den, also the slaughter pen, they tore down the bathrooms there, and they cleared all the trees. Now it looks like the jungles of Vietnam, but it used to be cleared. And what that showed me was just how rocky that terrain on there. And I try to imagine what it's like for the foot soldier. What's it like for the infantryman as he's going across these fields? I like to go off the beaten path wherever I go, and you can't keep your eyes ahead very easily when you're walking over rough ground. And these guys are walking over farm fields and stuff. But now, when you're going through the slaughter pen and there's a bunch of boulders, obviously you can't keep formation too well. And so, does it become every man for himself? And are you just kind of, I don't know. What are you doing? What's it like? So that that helps me with that. And people who I guess are more environmentalists or more on the nature side and don't really care about the history as much as they care about having the park as a quiet, peaceful, recreational place for them. Uh, they'll say to people that say what I say, they'll be like, well, then I guess you got to take the monuments and the paved roads here and stuff. And they completely miss the point of this particular park. And so they whatever, they'll let them say what they will. They're morons. So the yeah. Oh, okay. So it helps me as a visual learner to understand the battle and to picture myself. Like, I need to put myself there. Some people don't need to. It's enough for someone to just hear a fact and accept it and move on with their life. I need to, like, consume, like, it has to consume me. I have to internalize it. I have to feel it. I don't know what that is, if it's a form of I don't even know. Is it a mental disability? Is it like, I don't know, but that's what I need to do. I have a spiritual connection to the ground and the events here on the ground, and so I need to understand it by seeing it as close to what a soldier might have seen. I don't give a shit about monuments. They don't interfere with my understanding of topography. And so, but trees do, because they block things and they change things. The height of a tree may make an area look like it's higher ground than it really is, but it's not, because it's just trees. You know, all that stuff. So whatever. So that's that. The angle, I don't really remember. The angle to my mind has been the same. Well, let's see, 30 years. 30 years. This year is the 30th year that I've been coming, or since I've come to Gettysburg, I should say, and also that I've been coming to Gettysburg. So yeah, I don't really think the angle has changed much. I mean, the only changes I could think of are like trees that have blown down, or or at least parts of trees that split in half or something and fell off. But I don't really remember there being a woodlot that didn't exist or anything like that. The view at the angle has always been what it is now, to my experience. Perhaps older people might remember something else, but I mean, of course, there were roads there that don't exist now. But yeah, that's a good question, Jeff. Gaslight says, frankly, I think that if Longstreet had argued with Lee about attacking on 2nd July, he would have not made it back to Virginia without a court martial. So you don't believe that Longstreet argued with him at all? I believe he did. I believe it's a good lieutenant's job to argue, not to be difficult, not to be obstinate, but to speak up for the sake of his commander, so that his commander knows everything there is to know. But once the commander says, duly noted, do it anyway, then that's it. So I think, now, did Longstreet drag his heels? I don't know. I have no freaking clue. No, I have a clue, and I don't think he dragged his heels either. I think the order for July 3rd did not come early enough, because that wasn't the original plan for July 3rd. And then once Lee realized that wasn't going to happen because of what was happening over here, then he had to make a new plan, and that's where the Pickett Petegrine, whatever you want to call it, was formed. So the idea that Longstreet knew what to do at dawn or early in the day and just didn't do it fast enough, I don't buy that. And same thing with July 2nd. I don't buy that either. Like, it's just, I don't know. Babber says, are there no bathrooms on the battlefield now? No, there are. There's one behind the Pennsylvania Memorial. There's one over here. And there is the West End Guide Station on the Chambersburg Road, or Route 30. And there is the South End Guide Station, which is down on the Emmitsburg Road. And let me think here. Hold on. Let me think. There's Porta Johns on the at the intersection of Wheatfield Road and Sykes/Sedgwick, and there are Porta Johns in Pitzer's Woods. You know, I find the older I get, the more I have to is, in case I have to pee urgently. Thanks, blood pressure meds. So the one bathroom here on Culp's Hill, and I know I just came up on Culp's Hill on the previous video, but we'll go a different road this time. And it's over here to the left. You'll see the roof. There it is. There it is. Look at that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your little bathroom. Oh, there's another one over in the cemetery. I mean, not in it, but right on the side, right inside the fence of the National Cemetery. There's a little brick building, and there's a bathroom in there. And I always said, if someone wanted to make a gangster movie that takes place in the 30s, that bathroom would be the place to do a scene where somebody gets popped in a stall or something, because I think that's when it was built. I mean, it looks like it. It doesn't look like it's been improved much since the 30s. I'm sure it has, but it looks old, is my point. But it works. That's the important part. That it works. Thank you very much. Wonder Monkey sent me some Getty's Nerd sticker. This is to pay for them. Drive carefully. Um, I don't understand. And you want me to give Wonder Monkey the money that you just sent for stickers? Is that what you're asking? I'll do whatever you ask. All right, let's see here. Hold on here. Hold on. Let me see. We gotta catch up on my. I'm gonna catch up on my comments here, ladies and gents. We'll just pull over a little bit here for. All right, I'm going back here. The new bathrooms on the battlefield downloaded by the Hartshorn guy said, "Why didn't any photographers take any pictures of the beaver dams? Surely they played a pivotal role in the battle." It's a great point. That's a great point. Paranormal Brew, Little Round Top East Cavalry, and Eisenhower Farmhouse property are my favorite spots. I don't know, but everything else comes in second place. All right, there you go. Yeah, what are your favorite spots, everybody? The Skeptical Stash says, "Is this Grand Theft Auto 6? Graphics are crazy." Barbara says, "Thanks, Val." Valerie says, "You're welcome, Barbara." Valerie says, "Oh, and by the picnic grove, but I read there were copperheads there the other day." Oh, boy. Were there? Don't tell me that. I'll never come out here again. RIP Rosensteel Building, the Good Museum. John Stewart says, "How many visitors in the past year have wondered how soldiers dealt with beavers at the battle?" Probably all of them. I totally agree with this spiritual bond. I have the coordinates tattooed on my arm. There you go. Joey says, "Hey, Joey," says hello and good evening, Matt from Independence, Ohio. Good evening, Joey and Francie. How are you? Jeff Pasnick says, "If I am good for anything, it's for somewhat good questions." Paranormal Bruce says, "The angle is such a great spot. I love spots that had the biggest impacts." Thomas Canavan says, "Evening, folks. Looking down, beautiful down there. Can't wait to get back soon." Gaslight says, "In fairness, almost all the officers in the Army of Northern Virginia believed that Lee, prior to Gettysburg, was the greatest field officer of all time, and men like Early maintained that myth after the war ended." Yes, yes. Morons. Matthew Gillespie says, "Good afternoon, Gettys Nerds." Eric W. says, "Good evening, Matt and everyone. Good evening to you." Paranormal Bruce says, "Picture perfect." John Stewart says, "Did you say Porta Johns in Pisser's Woods?" Yes. Yes, because, and it was named Pisser's Woods because people would always stop there to go and take a leak. And finally, the park was like, "All right, you know what? This is obviously a social bathroom. And much like social trails, we're going to formalize it. So we're putting some Porta Johns here." That's not true. It's called Pitzer's Woods. Don't let anybody get the idea that you can go pissing in the woods here in the park. People do it, but you shouldn't. You're not supposed to do it. Coronet says, "Good evening, guys, from Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. I used to live right by there. Wish I was in Gettysburg. Saw the house being moved a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was cool." Bill Chesley says, "If I had unlimited money, I would do all I could to restore the landscape to the time of the battle." I wouldn't do that, Bill. And the reason is because it would have to be trusted in the hands of the government. And right out here, money was given. There was an endowment made to clear and maintain this place where they put a marker, a wayside marker in the woods and a path and everything. And after 1 year, the park was like, nah. And now it's back to nature. A complete waste of money. Oh, sounds like there's several, says Barbara. Yes, there are several bathrooms. No, don't give him money. There you go. Oh, no, don't give him money. Okay, good. No, I won't. It would have been very painful for me to have to give Wonder Monkey money, but if that's what you ask, that's what I will do. Paranormal Brew. I would love to go back in time and see Gettysburg just before the battle, during for a couple seconds, and then just after the battle, just to see it. Well, and here's the thing. Say the park gets $1 billion to remove all the woodlots that didn't exist, to I don't know, to graze cattle where cattle grazed and cleared the undergrowth of woods, et cetera, And we were able to look out here on Culp's Hill and see what the Union soldiers saw as they looked down into the woods. Let's say that they were able to do that. It's still not exactly what the soldiers would have seen because life was occurring here. These were people's farms. The land was being used for crops, for livestock, etc. There were outbuildings around farmhouses that may not exist today. There were a lot of things that would look different, but the topographical features, the nature, would, I guess, be scaled back, and perhaps even there would be fewer wood lots than we're aware, because people they used wood a lot back then. I don't think people realize. I don't. Well, I shouldn't say it like that, but I I have heard from people who are much smarter than I am, that are a little more authoritative on such matters, that we have way more trees and forests today than we did back in olden times because we don't use the wood like we did back then, and lumber mills and stuff replant trees. So I think this whole area here would have been much more sparsely wooded than we think. Oh yeah, that's good. Rock and Roll's All Stars. There's Porta Johns on Big Round Top as well. Good call. Good call. Marie Honey says, "I love Little Round Top early in the morning." Yes, yes, yes. Anywhere here on the battlefield is great early in the morning. If you're a person who likes, I'll say, photos of the sun when it's at low angles, whether that's set or rise, and if you haven't discovered uh, Culp's Hill, East Cemetery Hill at sunrise yet, you are missing out because it is beautiful. And if you get it on a misty morning, good Lord in heaven, you're going to get some beauteous shots. So let that be a little advice, a little helpful advice to all you folks there. And another place, and I hate to say this because I don't want to have to compete with people when I go down there for more footage, but another beautiful place to get sunrise stuff is at Antietam. Oh Lord, someday I hope to be able to put out a video where you can see this one shot that I got down there. It's like perfect, and it looks as if a Hollywood cinematographer shot it. And all I had to do was turn the camera on. I did. There's nothing fancy. It was just luck. It was the good Lord painting a picture, and I was like, "That's a pretty picture. I'm gonna shoot it," and I did. And I'll never be able to replicate that again. Wonder Monkey says, "Hold on, you can give Wonder Monkey all the money you want." Yes, well, good, I will, which is none. When's next live show taping? Are you talking about Ask a Guides or the next Patreon show? Oh, well, so you're asking about shows. Let me tell you about shows. We've got an action-packed month and change of shows for you. Oh, let's see. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Well, we are shooting for Sunday night re-release of an old show that we did with Jim Hassler about the Battle of Little Bighorn, and that is going to come out Sunday night as a supplemental for our new viewers who might not have seen it all those years ago, might not have gone back that far. And that's to prepare you all for next week's Tavern Talk. Now, we're kind of off schedule here, simply because just the way the workload has been, we haven't been able to get the things ready. But it's important that we get both the Little Bighorn Tavern Talk and the D-Day Tavern Talk out in the month of June. They're not going to be out on their anniversary days because we're releasing the Tavern Talks in chronological order of, obviously the event. So Little Bighorn is going to be out first, and then Airborne Operations during D-Day will come out after that. And we're shooting for next Monday for the Little Bighorn Tavern Talk, and then 2 Mondays after that, actually 2 Wednesdays after that, for the Today one. And actually, this Thursday, Doug Dowds is coming by, and we're going to do, it's kind of a preview, but also a supplemental to the Tavern Talk on D-Day. So that one we were going to record and then try to put out by Saturday. So it'll come out on June 6th. But Saturdays are terrible days to upload anything because nobody watches because people are doing their own thing. It really is funny. Like people use social media and YouTube while they're on somebody else's dime more than on their own dime. And I just find it very funny. Because I can see like when the audience is most active, Anyway, so weekdays are better for that. And so that's why we're moving it to Monday. But the supplemental episode, we're probably just going to do as a live stream this Thursday, probably around 2:30 anti-meridian. And that way it'll be out and all that jazz. Matt Gillespie says, Wonder Monkey's Getty's Nerds sticker sales 100% goes to AG. Oh, I didn't know that. Does Wonder Monkey know that? That's very nice of you, Wonder Monkey. If you know, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Valerie says, favorite spots, Little Round Top, love Culp's Hill, and East Cavalry Field. Yeah, East Cavalry Field's a nice one because, I mean, you want to avoid the crowds, that's where you go. Of course, it helps to be interested in it. If you're just trying to avoid the crowds, then it's not going to mean much to you. Phil says his favorite spot is McPherson's Ridge. Yeah, I specifically the McPherson Farm area. I go there. Oftentimes, I don't know why. I like to think, I guess. But that's one of the spots that I find myself going to. I like it out there. Yes, I like it. Jeff says, thank you for the evening drive. It's been some time and enjoyed this. Oh, it's been some time. Yes. You're welcome, Jeff. I appreciate your appreciation. Barbara says, wait, is this in a loop now? Heard this already. No, you didn't. Barbara. Dustin says, some may love Little Round Top in the morning, while others may love Little Ground Top. There you go. See, I'm not always thinking like that. Good job, Dustin. Paranormal Brew says, I've yet to see a sunrise. Maybe I'll grow up this year and get up early enough to go see it. I've always had a hard time getting up that early. But I forced myself to do it a couple times last year. And I have to tell you, I'm glad I did because there's just something about getting up and out right before the sun comes up. Only in the summer though, not in the winter, because the sun doesn't come up till like 10 in the afternoon or 10 in the morning during the winter, and then it goes down at 3. So that it's always before sunup in winter. But this time of year, I don't know. There's something about it. Something about it. Love it. I love it. Hey, show of hard hands. How many of you guys out there and gals, I use guys loosely, how many of you all are amateur photographers or professional photographers? Do you like taking photographs? Raise your hand. Ford Mustangry. That's good. I like that. I would like the park to put back rebuilt structures that survived the battle. Example, McPherson Farmhouse. That would be great. The so the problem for the park, and this is the problem. We've been getting a lot of comments on the Tavern Talks. People saying, "I love this. Please do more." And we have the same problem the park does, and that's funding. So the park, even though it's the government, it doesn't have unlimited funds, and the Park Service seems to be the one agency that gets their budgets cut whenever there's budget cutting getting done. So the way to do that would be through major donations to the foundation, the Gettysburg Foundation, because they're the park's financial partner, and they're able to do a lot of things that their budget won't allow from the federal government, because of money that has been raised through the foundation. So really, as far as local, not local, battlefield preservation goes, and those types of projects, people say, "Who's your daddy?" Your daddy's the Gettysburg Foundation. That's who's gonna be able to come up with the money for that. But that doesn't mean, it's very complicated. It's very complicated. But it doesn't mean that just because, hey, I'm a rich guy, I want to give you $3 million to fix that goddamn Klingel farmhouse. A foundation can go to the superintendent and say, "Hey, I got $3 million to fix the farmhouse." The superintendent could be like, "Nah," or the superintendent could be like, "Okay," and then as it goes through the process, gets tied up in red tape, or there's some snag. It sounds like a nightmare, and I feel bad for these people that have to, within this structure, because it's so anti-progress and anti-productivity, and it's just really sad. It's really sad. But that's the way to do it. So get involved with the Gettysburg Foundation if you want to really get into battlefield preservation here at Gettysburg. And of course, get involved with the Digital History Pioneers if you want to see more of the Tavern Talks. You can sponsor a whole, or you can sponsor a single episode. Eric W., the next Patreon show. I have no idea. I don't think. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow? No, that was today. Yeah, no, I don't think I have another one this week, and I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know what's beyond that. I'll know Sunday night when I look at the next week's schedule. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I don't know off the top of my head. Valerie says Custer was in the Little Bighorn. Yes, that's where he died. That's his last stand. Always the joy of cooking says, forget about who's buried in Grant's tomb. The real question is who's buried in Custer's grave. Ah, now you're talking. There's somebody who knows what they're talking about. Coronet says maybe a talk about Daniel Boone. Tavern talk? That would be cool. Yeah, so the tavern talks are addressing history. So they don't have to, obviously, they don't have to be Civil War or Gettysburg. They can be. And I have one I want to do so bad for Gettysburg, but again, we don't have the funding for it, so I'm probably not going to be able to do it. But someday. Greetings, BKW. How are you? Wonder Monkey says, I made some decals for the last tour of the year. Yeah, I remember that. Gave some to Gillespie, excuse me. He wanted to buy some more from me. Won't take money for them, so I told him and anyone else to donate to the Super Chats. I appreciate that, Wonder Monkey, and I do remember that now, and I am sorry I forgot. Thank you very much. You know what? Your stock is rising, number 2. Your stock is rising. BKW says, my love of Gettysburg has definitely rubbed off on the missus. She spilled something in the kitchen and shouted, sickles, instead of a swear word. Cracked me up. That's great. Paranormal Bruce says, hi, my house. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, so I'm way behind here. All right, let's look at it. I'm obsessed. Me, Valerie says, I'm obsessed with photos. Jeff Pasnick is too. John Stewart, hand raised. Garrick, hand raised. Dwaltrins says, miss you, uncle. Is that my nephew, Joey? Or my niece, Julia? Miss you, if it is. Always miss you. I can't wait for you to get your driver's license so you can come here on your own so your parents won't take you down. God. Well, I bet, you know what? I'm going to put sand in the backyard so that your mom thinks we have a beach, and then she'll come here. Paranormal Bruce says, if I ever win the lottery, GBG is getting a huge donation. I donate small now, but I'd love to do more. Well, the best way to do that, as I said, is through Digital History Pioneers Foundation. Eric W. says, Wonder Monkey, where can I get your stickers? That's a great question. Ford Mustangry says, is the golf course still untouched? You mean untouched by the park? I think they mow. They don't mow the whole thing, but they mow around the pathways. And the pathways are the old pathways from when it was a golf course. Garrick says, and Custer was at the Battle of Hanover. Yes, he was. Eric W. says, I believe you're actually close enough that we could probably work out some kind of delivery. Eric W. says, looking to possibly visit Gettysburg in the fall. Can I sponsor dinner for you and the crew? Sure can. You sure can. By the way, speaking of sponsors, if anybody wants to sponsor the Get Out of the Car tours individually or the remainder of the season, Eric Houston, sorry, not Eric the producer, Eric Houston put them together this year, did a great job, and I'm sick of paying Lewis. So it would be great if we got a sponsor. If you have a business, if it's a local, actually, it doesn't even need to be a local business. But if you are a local business and you're listening and you would like to, become more known to our audience, that would be one way to do it. I'm thinking. I gotta say, patrons, hats off to you, because when the sign up link went up, I'm really surprised at how many of you signed up for it, especially the Sickles one. But I'm thinking next year the tours are just going to be for the patrons. It's going to be a perk. We're going to revamp Patreon this year. I've been talking about it for 2 years now, but we're going to really sit down and figure out how to do it to be commensurate with the price of inflation, of course. But yeah, I think I'm going to do them for patrons only next year, only because then I can justify paying because they're the people who pay the membership, so make it part of the membership. But it's I don't know. It's like being the guy that always picks up the tab at the bar, and then more and more people start showing up to the bar because they don't have to pay for the drinks when you do it for anybody. And you know, I think it's time that the patrons start getting some major love. And we're working on some perks for you guys that I think are gonna do they're gonna do some good. They're gonna save you some money in the Gettysburg area. That's what they're gonna do. All right. I'm going to lose you as I go into this mountain area here. So I'm going to say good night, God bless, and good morrow. And we'll see there. And stuff. Otherwise, you guys have a great day, great evening, and I'll talk to you next time.